Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasudhanandana Brajajana Kanjana Jamunatera Vanachare Jamunatera Vanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janava Labha Girivardhari. Gopi Janava Labha Girivardhari. Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatera Vanachare Jamunatera Vanachare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Mithai Gaur Hari Ba, Hari Ba, Hari Ba, Ba Hari Ba. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharyam Astotrasatat Sisymad Divine Grace ISKCON Pandacharya Srila Abhacharana Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharyam Astotrasatat Sisymad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridasa Kaur Ki Jai. Pran Sikahau Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Sri Gora Bhaktavini Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Syamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Savandavan Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mayapad Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Gangamai Jamunamai Ki Jai, Srimati Tulsi Devi Bhakta Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktavina Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari. All glories to the summer devotees, all glories to the summer devotees, all glories to the summer devotees, all glories to Sister Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 12, Text 12. Narayanam Namaskrita Naram Cheva Narotamam Devin Saraswati Vyasat Tato Jaya Mudhirait Nasta Prayesu Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavaiti Naistiki. Rahu Gane Tat Sapasanayati Rahu Gane Tat Tapasanayati Nasejaya Nivatpanat Grihava Nasejaya Nivatpanat Grihava Nachandasa Neva Jalagni Surya Nachandasa Neva Jalagni Surya Vinamahat Padarajo Bhishikam Vinamahat Padarajo Bhishikam Rahu Ghaneta Tapasa Nayati Nasejaya Nivappanad Grihava Nachandasa Neva Jalagni Surya Vinamahat Padarajo Bhishikam. Can someone try? Word for word translation. Rahugana. O King Rahugana. Etat, this knowledge. Tapasa, by severe austerities and penances. Nayati, does not become revealed. Na, not. Cha, also. Ijaya, by a great arrangement for worshipping the deity. That's interesting. Nivapanat, or from finishing all material duties and accepting sannyas. Grihat, from ideal household life. Va, or, na, no. Chandasa, by observing celibacy or studying Vedic literature. Na eva, no. Jala Agni Surya, by severe austerities such as keeping oneself in water, in a burning fire, or in the scorching of sun. Vina, without. Mahat, of the great devotees. Padaraja, the dust of the lotus feet. Abhishekam, smearing all over the body. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Confound Acharya. Srila Abhachan Navina Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of household life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyas, or undergoing severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth. But the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. It's an interesting stuff here. Is it? So please kindly respond and repeat. My dear Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of household life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting science, or undergoing severe penances. In winter, by keeping oneself submerged in water, or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth. But the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. Purport. Actual knowledge of transcendental bliss can be bestowed upon anyone by a pure devotee. Vedesu dulabam adulabam atma bhaktu. One can attain the perfection of spiritual life simply by following the directions of the Vedas. One has to approach a pure devotee. Anya vilasata sunyam jnana kamadi anavritam. By the grace of such a devotee, one can understand the absolute truth, Krishna, and one's relationship with Krishna. A materialistic person sometimes thinks that simply by executing pious activities and remaining at home, one can understand the absolute truth. That is denied in this verse. Nor can one understand the absolute truth simply by observing the rules and regulations of brahmacharya, celibacy. One only has to serve the pure devotee. That will help one understand the absolute truth without fail. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Salakaya Saksol Militam Yena Tismai Sri Gurave Namaha Suchaitanya Manobhistam Stafitam Jena Bhutali Swayarumpam Kadamayan Vedati Swapadantikam Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Suhoda to Gudadai Puspavantu Chitu Chantamund Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutali Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Itinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nivisisa Sonya Badi Pachatya Disatari Vanchakalpataribhya cha Kripasundabhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. So, this is a very interesting verse. Are you having some back pain? Brahmachari. You have a back pain? You need to rest on the wall there? So you come forward. Come and be where the other devotees are. No one is carrying a gun here, so don't be afraid. Okay, so we're going to be snappy because we have just about 35 minutes to go. Because today is Sunday and the resident devotees will be engaged in assisting with some preparation for the Sunday feast, I was told. So the class has to end at 8:30. So, but, it's not the volume of words to hear that matters. It's the quality of the discussion that will really help us. So, Lord Krishna mentions in the Gita that we have to make some inquiries. Tad vidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadashina. The process of inquiry also entails that we have to have, it's like if you give me an empty cup, hey, Vasudev Swami, I'm very thirsty, please give me some water. If the cup is empty, I can fill the cup with perhaps Maha water from the fridge, or whatever. For you will drink, you get satisfaction. But if the cup you are giving to me is half, say for instance, is is not really empty. Huh? The cup is not empty. You're not going to satiate your taste. I said, you're not going to satiate your taste. There's a difference between satiation and satisfaction. Satisfaction means I don't need it anymore. Satiation means I am full, but anything can happen the next moment. So inquiry also means that we have to have some type of mindset, open objectivity, so that we will be able to imbibe that information culture that is emanating from the speaker or from the spiritual master or from the sadhu. But if we are constricted in our mindset, or we are already judgmental, we're thinking, what am I going to get from this person? Then we are already biased. And therefore, if even it's a spiritual discussion, we're not going to really get the ultimate realization of what is going to emanate from that discussion. And sometimes it happens. So, the bottom line is, we have to have, in the process of making inquiries, and sometimes we're very much prone to acting based on impulse of the sensory modalities and the mind. We have heard from the scriptures. Oh, Krishna said, make some inquiries, render some service. So you go to meet the sadhu. Oh, how can I serve you? And then he tells you, all right, Prabhu, oh, Maharaji, okay, have to get this done. He said, oh, actually, I'm very busy. That is like we're giving a cup to someone, please give me some water, but the cup is not empty. We're not open. We're just acting on the mental platform. So, when we do have a chance, every day in the morning, the very second to the last verse of our Mangalati prayers. Who knows that verse? Second to the last verse. Sakshat Dharitrina. That verse is explaining that we have to worship the Guru, the Acharya, just like Krishna. Just like Krishna. Why? Why we have to worship someone just like Krishna? Yes? What's your name? Brahmacharya, what's your name? Why we have to worship the Acharyas just like Krishna? Why? How do you preach here in Chicago? Oh, in Spanish? Okay. You're from a Spanish country? Huh? Argentina? You're from Argentina? How long you been here? How long you been here? 2 months. When I came to Argentina, did I see you there? India? Oh, okay. Because I didn't see you in Argentina when I came there. So, what we are saying is that here the discussion between Bharat and Rahugana. Rahugana was a king, a great king. And he was hearing from Bharat. And Bharat was like, he was acting like a bomb who doesn't know anything. But later, he got to reveal himself to, King Rahugana. And so here the instruction is very patent, it's very relevant to us. This text is very relevant to us. Because here we are training people to be brahmacharis. Huh? And the tendency is for the brahmacharis to always think, we are better than everyone else. Huh? We are brahmacharis. I remember when Nada Muni, he was going to meet different devotees to make some assessment, who is the greatest of all the devotees. So he went to meet Hanuman. And he went to meet Hanuman. Hanuman was praising him like anything. Nanda Muni was praising Hanuman like anything. Oh, you're a Paka devotee of Lord Ramachandra. You're celibate, powerful devotee. So, he told Nada, my dear Nada, see, I am nothing. I'm not even a devotee yet. You want to see a devotee? Go and see the Pandavas. And so Nada was leaving, heading to the home of the Pandavas. And he grabbed Narada and said, please, go to the Pandavas with open heart. Don't think, we are brahmacharis and they are householders. What type of devotional service can they perform? He told Narada, when you're going, go with open heart. Don't think, we are brahmacharis. Because, the both of them are brahmacharis. Okay? So, yes, this is a general attitude of those who are not married, cultivated spiritual life. They feel that they are superior to everyone else. But no one is superior to anybody. No one is superior to anyone. In fact, Krishna is Bhavagrahi Judandana. He simply reciprocates based on our bhav. It's not based on our social class or spiritual class or whatever. The Pandavas, for instance, was any of the Pandavas a sannyasi? A brahmachari? Yeah, but Krishna was their messenger. Krishna was their messenger. Krishna is a messenger. The Pandavas, Krishna was their messenger. Krishna was sleeping with them. Krishna sleeps with you in your room. So we should be sober. Living in the ashram, being trained as brahmachari, gives us ample opportunity to accelerate in our devotional culture. But there is every tendency to be offensive. There is every tendency to feel superiority complex. There is every tendency for us to minimize even every other person except my guru. So here in this verse, it is mentioned here, my dear Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees. In plural, not singular. Plural is S, devotees. Great devotees. And in the purport narrowed it down. So, if you are dealing with a pure devotee, be careful. How and why? Because that same opportunity given to us to perfect existence, to accelerate or to expedite our spiritual progress, could become disastrous. And what basically stagnates us in our spiritual life is our lack of understanding, our lack of spiritual values to be able to appreciate all the devotees that we encounter in our lives. So, spiritual life is very juicy, it's very sweet. But it could also be very bitter. It could also be very bitter when we cross the wrong way. In fact, in the Sasa, it is mentioned that this devotional service is like a razor blade. A razor blade can give you a clean shave. If you make a mistake, you will go to the hospital. So devotional service is also like that. It's very good. Therefore, we have to take advantage of the good aspect of devotional service. It's not that we are meditating on the dangerous aspect of how we make some mistake and we're going to suffer for it and all this stuff. We should not meditate on that. But we should also reflect on that sometimes so that we are careful and meticulous in our dealings with other devotees. So here, it's interesting that Bharat used a plural devotees. In other words, not just a single person, not just my guru. Okay, Lord Krishna has said that we should approach a spiritual master. I already have a guru. So if I please my guru, I'm going back home back to Godhead. Why not? Any other person who is not my guru, bullshit. That's right. We may say, we don't do that. That is our attitude, man. That is our attitude. I serve my guru very nicely. Any other person who is not my guru, bullshit. Shall I tell you a story? One time, Rupa Goswami was in Samadhi. He was having very sweet darshan of Radha and Krishna. They were having fun. Radha was trying to pick some flower on a tree, and so Krishna, on his way, brought down the branch of the tree so Radha could pick the flower. So Radha held the branch of the tree like this, and she was trying to pick the flower, and Krishna lifted up his hand. And so Radha went up. And so Rupa Goswami was seeing this, having experience, having darshan of this pastime, and so he was smiling. And that time he was oblivious of external happenings. He was in Samadhi. Exactly that very moment, one lame devotee came by. And he saw Rupa Goswami smiling. So he thought, my God, I thought that he's a Paramahamsa. But he's seeing me on a body. Because I'm lame, he's laughing at me. Rupa Goswami was completely unaware that somebody was even around. That is just the thought. The thought, the speculation of this lame devotee. Because he is a devotee himself, Rupa Goswami was affected by that. Immediately his samadhi broke. Immediately that lame devotee had that thought, his samadhi, because he took offense. Why is he laughing at me? Because I'm lame? Immediately Rupa Goswami's samadhi broke. He was worried. He went to meet Sanatan. This is what happened. I was having, wonderful darshan, and all of a sudden, it was truncated. How is that? Sanatan told him, someone must have taken an offense. You must have hurt someone. So, go and conduct some research. So Sanatan told him, go and organize a big feast. Call all the sadhus in the community to come. The person who will not come is the person that you have offended. But is that really an offense? Yes, it's an offense. There are two types of offense, or perhaps even more, but categorically two types: inadvertent offense and a deliberate offense. It's like you're accused of murder. You are charged with murder in the law court. If your lawyer proves that you did not sit down to plan the murder, you may still be incriminated for killing someone, but it will be translated to manslaughter. It's a different gradation of a criminal implication. The number of years you serve in jail will be reduced because it's manslaughter. But if it's proven that you planned it, there was a strategic plan in the killing, then you will go in for murder. So here is a case where Rupa Goswami was completely unaware of what was happening. So it's an inadvertent offense. Someone took it as an offense, but it was not that he really did it. Someone perceived. So, again, you find out, how will that really happen? But it's there in the Shastra. It's like perception or thought pattern. It creates also some effect. Like, there was this story in I think it is Sisi, where this Brahmin, he was just meditating how to serve sweet rice to his deity. And at some point in time, he thought, this must be too hot. So, in his meditation, he thought, let me really check and see. And so, he put his hand in the sweet rice to check how hot it is or how cold it is. Because sweet rice, you normally serve sweet rice, you will have to even put it in the fridge before the time for serving so that it's cool. He put his hand, mentally, and physically his hand got burnt. So that is the power of meditation, the power of thought. So in the same way that it could produce powerful positive effects, it could also produce negative effects. Of course, in Kali Yuga, if you commit offense just by thought, you're not accountable. So the question is, then Rupa Goswami lived just 500 years ago. So why is it that Rupa Goswami was affected by someone's, thought? The point is, we have to be careful, because devotional life could be very complex and delicate. It's very sweet. We come before the deities and sing and dance and take nice prasadam. But the subtleties of devotional service, we need to learn that from the acharyas, from the pure devotees of the Lord. Nayam atma pravachanena labhya na medaya, na bahuna, na srutena. We cannot become self-realized by simply becoming very much vast in, intelligent quotient. Or having big discussions, philosophical discussions. Or by reading the scriptures. Bahuna srutena. We know the scriptures very, back and forth. This is a statement in the Katha Upanishad. And that same verse is repeated in the Mundaka Upanishad. Nayam Atma Pravachena na Labhi. Na Medaya. Na Bahuna na Srutena. So we have to be careful. And not be afraid of devotional life, but understand the positive aspects. The whole culture of devotion is about relationships. Relationships. It's mentioned here in the purport. Vedesu dulabam, adulabam atma bhaktu. The Veda, you can't really access Krishna by reading the Vedas. It's so difficult. Even the Vedas, the Vedic literature is so complex. But Krishna can become really accessible by the process of devotional service. Atma Bhakti. It becomes easy. Adulabam. It's very difficult. Dulabam is very, very difficult to attain Krishna. It's very difficult to understand Krishna through the Vedic literature. But through devotional service, through the guidance of a pure devotee, and sometimes people are in Krishna consciousness, and because of so many negative things they have heard and seen, they say, I don't need any guidance. I don't need any spiritual master. Yeah, but even the fall downs, it's just to show you that Krishna consciousness is very scientific. So these things are there. How can you imagine that a big devotee like Rupa Goswami could actually become truncated in his samadhi for inadvertent offense, something he did not really do. It just shows the delicacy of Krishna consciousness. It's a subtle science. And science means there are activities, there are observations, and there are, results. There are results. That makes it science. Otherwise it becomes just theology. Anybody can say anything, and there are cover up here and there, like what is happening in some, I don't want to mention names, but some institutions. There's a big cover-ups here and there, The priests fall down and they push him to another place, like this. And no, ours is not like that. I want to meet some Catholic priests one time in Nigeria at the seminary. So we're having some exchanges, and this priest, they were asking me that. So in your movement, in your organization, if a leader falls down, what do you normally do? I say he's exposed and he has to step down. He said once. I said yes. So he was looking at us like people who are really not compassionate. No, I mean, the point is, even in politics, if you run into a big problem, and look at the case of Bill Clinton, the whole of this country became like, it became like the slogan. How many politicians, had some difficulty, and then, the constituency or the masses dumped them, the citizens dumped them. And therefore, we watch each other for our own mutual growth, mutual development. But we have to be careful how we are deliberating, how we executing our devotional service. We have to know that each and every one has a part to play, a role to play in serving Krishna. The very words of Rupa Goswami again in the Bhakti Samhita Sindhu are Krishna Anusilanam, to cultivate service in relationship to Krishna. That is the essence of devotional service. Krishna Anusilanam. If we have the proper attitude, and what is that proper attitude? Anukulena. Because that is practical also. Anukulena means favorable. Favorable hearing. To treat the devotees nicely. And devotees nicely doesn't mean just the devotees in your temple. Or the great devotee, the pure devotee doesn't just mean just my spiritual master. There are how many pure devotees we have even just in ISKCON alone? How many gurus? How many sannyasis? How many senior devotees? So if we're not versatile in the scriptures, or if even we are versatile in the scriptures and we don't really implement what we have had, we don't cultivate what we have had, we will not have the developed character. First, we should have knowledge, theoretical knowledge. We implement that theoretical knowledge in our daily activities. We will have purified consciousness. When we have purified consciousness, our mindset, our attitude, our values will change positively, and we will have developed character. Therefore, the Mundakan Katha Upanishad gave the assertion that, we cannot become self-realized just by becoming powerful speakers, powerful discussants, or people who know the scriptures back and forth. I saw one little girl in India, in Delhi, and the parents were telling me that, she knows the whole of Bhagavad Gita, the verses and the translations. Oh yeah? A small girl, not even 12 years old. So, the point is, if you talk about Sanskrit, if you go to Harvard University, there are Sanskrit professors. Ridhandra Maharaj's instructor, he's still there at Harvard University, Sanskrit professor. I met one girl in Boston. She came to one of the programs that I had in Boston, and we were discussing. So she said she was doing a summer course at Harvard there on Sanskrit. So anybody can even study Sanskrit, but again, yes, it will increase our knowledge domain, but it does. The Sanskrit professors doesn't mean that they are going back to Godhead. And Krishna mentioned in the Gita, no one can understand me as I am standing before you, Arjuna, except one who has undivided devotional service to me. So the whole culture of Krishna consciousness is to be able to channel our energies to work under some higher authority. And we should not think that, when we are in the movement for 5-10 years, then, now we are, we have known everything. We don't know anything. Because knowledge itself is, learning itself is a lifelong process. How many Vedic literature, how many Vedas we have? Even the Bhagavatam, how many people have even read the whole of the Bhagavatam, from Canto 1 to 12? And there are so many other literatures. So knowledge, even the Vedic literature, is so unlimited. So how many years you're going to live on this planet to be able to sit down to read all of that? So, And then sometimes also, I was discussing with some devotees the other day that, to be a householder yourself is not an easy thing. So here in this verse it is mentioned, not by being an ideal householder that will really break the spiritual wall open for you to go into. Again, we have to smear our bodies with the dust from the lotus feet of Uttama Bhakta, a pure devotee of the Lord. So I could say, well, I have smeared my body with the dust from the pure devotee of the Lord. You are not a pure devotee. Get out here. Yeah, but that's not the attitude. We have to serve the devotees of the Lord. Now, what is the verse in the Shastakam? That in verse 3, what does it say? Amanina manadena kitaniya sadahari. What does that mean? We repeat it every day. We repeat every day in our temples. But, as we repeat, we forget the meaning, whether we should implement that in our lives or not. To have a sustainable japa, unimpeded japa, pure chanting, is that we should be humble. We should serve without expectation. We should not think that we have become so advanced now because I've been in the movement for 30 years. I've been in the movement for 20 years. I've been in the movement for 10 years, 5 years. Now I know everything. We don't know anything. A pure devotee always thinks that he doesn't know anything. That's the difference. Those who are imbued with phenomenological mindset or polluted consciousness, they think, we know everything, or I know everything. What else do I have to learn? I know everything. Not even by being a vanaprastha. People sometimes are proud. After I've left my wife and my children, what did you leave behind for them? So all glories to ISKCON GBC. Now there's a law. Before you leave home, your wife has to append the signature that he has settled me, he has built a house for me, he has given me all the money that I needed for my sustenance and my children for the rest of my life. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere. It's not like before. People just domestically, emotionally abuse their wives, abandon the wife and the kid, and then they say they're taken to Vanaprastha or taken to sannyas. Nothing like that now. They've learned their lesson in a hard way. Yeah, so it's not by saying, well, I'm now a Vanaprastha, and then you are going back to Godhead. It's not like that. It's not even by taking sannyas. Oh, look, I'm a sannyasi, Why don't you pay me obeisance this morning? You think that's the way to treat a sannyasi? You don't know that I'm a sannyasi? So, these are designations. They are facilities that should help us to grow. But it's not that we begin to demand for service. But the devotee should know this. I am still supposed to serve. Because if you treat a sannyasi in a wrong way, your whole spiritual life it goes down. Yeah. So the way you treat your spiritual master is the way you should treat every sannyasi. The way you treat your spiritual master is the way you should treat every sannyasi. You think Krishna is going to discriminate and say, oh, well, this is your guru and this is not your guru. He said, my pure devotees, Their thoughts dwell in me. All of them, all the pure devotees. So we have to know this. All right? So that we have proper attitude towards devotees, people, senior devotees who are coming to our temples. It's so important. You never can tell who is going to help you. You never can tell who is going to help you. Some of you have taken initiation, you don't even have access to your gurus. You never can tell who is going to help you. How many people here know the spiritual master's telephone number? They can just call the spiritual master if they are in trouble to speak with the spiritual master. Yeah, how many people here? But the word here is approach. Huh? You find in the Gita, Krishna was addressing all of Arjuna's ambiguities. Arjuna was confronted with so many challenges. How many of us will have our spiritual master by us to address our challenges when we are in trouble? So you never can tell who is going to help you. Don't minimize people and simply truncate your devotional life. So, just like it is mentioned here, there are many other processes to understand the absolute truth. But the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. So we have to try to do that. And that begins with humility. Humility at heart. Hare Krishna. So our time is up. Maybe one comment or one question. Yes. What's your name? Sanji. Very cool.
I just wanted to say one thing. What you said about humility reminded me about the stages when I was studying Zen, there was an emphasis on beginner's mind, to have a beginner's mind in order to attain and understand new knowledge and to maintain a state of freshness. So when you were saying that whether you're in the movement for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, it reminded me of that how important it is, because there is that tendency to just think, oh yes, I know that. And applying it to Krishna consciousness, I see that if Krishna is trying to show you something new, if you think I know everything, then he can't get through to you.
Sure.
So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Okay.
Maharaj, I wanted to ask, we hear a lot of emphasis put on doing these things, we hear a lot of emphasis put on doing things such as being a brahmachari or taking sannyas or studying the Vedas. So what is the use of these things if the only way to success is to have the dust of the devotees?
Yeah. All these things are required, but they are not the sole objective of devotional culture. Sole objective of devotional culture is to please Krishna. So how can we say, for instance, that, what's your name? Deva Madhava. How can I say, I love Deva Madhava, and his little son, I kick him in the face. Yeah, you understand that? Yes. The devotional service, according to Prahlad, it is a ninefold process. You can choose any of those processes and perfect in it, or even only one and perfect in it. But the bottom line is that we want to please Krishna. It means we have to please his devotees too. So whether you are a Vanaprastha, you're a sannyasi, you are a brahmachari, you're a householder, a Brahmin, a Kshatriya, whatever, we have to understand that. The goal, what is the ultimate goal? Is to please Krishna, is to serve Krishna and his devotees. So in the Bhagavatam it's also mentioned that the Kanisa Adhikari, he might be very good a pujari, but he doesn't really care for anybody, any devotee. I'm close to Krishna. Who are you? So there's all these temptations are there. So it's like, somebody, one of my friends, a medical student in India, she sent me a text message the other day, and I was just wondering, what is this? She said, what is the use of all these medical studies if the goal is to attain prema? We're not going to attain prema by going to medical school. I said, yes, you're right. You're not going to attain prema by going to medical school. But you need skills to be able to cultivate your devotional service. So I give an example that, see, if you don't have skills, you will not even be able to cultivate devotional service in most cases, because you will not have a job, and there is no job means you can't eat, and if you don't eat properly, you can't even, you not have a good health to be able to serve. It's like I met one devotee in Ohio. So he had 3 masters. So I was querying him that why you have to get so many masters? Why don't you just go and get a PhD in one of the masters? He said that, Maharaj, that I know that, but you know what? I want to get all these masters because they are all related to my job, and now they made me a director. So now I don't have to work. I just sit at home and then give instructions, to this branch and that branch and all this, and then I have so much of time to do my devotional service, which is just rational, It doesn't have to work. It just stays at home and give orders, get this done, get this done, get this done. That is just logic. It's a different situation when someone is not well groomed in skills development. He didn't go to school, and for him to even eat, he has to go out, be working under the sun or in the factory. And when he comes back home, he's so tired, he can't do anything. He has to leave home at 4 o'clock, Brahma Muhurta hours. So, in the same way, cultivating of devotional service in different angles, we have to be able to understand the ultimate goal. When we understand the ultimate goal, then we should align with the ultimate goal, and whatever we are doing should be channeled towards attaining that ultimate goal. Otherwise, we could become disgusted and say, why have to do this? Well, if deity service is not even the ultimate goal, why have to even go to the altar? There is a need to go to the altar. It purifies you. It speeds up the purification. But if you are going to the altar to serve the deities and say, you will not chant japa, you are missing the point. Rather, you should become very serious. Because I remember when we were pujaris, when I joined, it was so terrible that I vowed never to be a pujari. In those days, we go to the altar 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. And that's it. After bathing the deities, dressing them, ready for deity greetings, you have to go out to pick flowers for the deity greetings and for offerings. And then when you after class, you're going out on Sankirtan, come back 5 o'clock to go back to the altar. So you tell me, if you don't have proper management of time and you don't have high sadhana, how you're going to survive? So one may say, well, that's really crazy, man. So how did you guys survive it? We survive it. And if you survive it, you can be a hero anywhere in the world. It's like either you swim or you sink. It might be tough, but it prepares you for emergencies. So the bottom line is that we have to do the needful to be able to attain the goal, but we have to see how we are integrating everything and channel that towards attaining the ultimate goal. Otherwise, we could become discouraged. why I have to do this, why I have to do that. Whether you're a grihasta, you're a brahmachari, you're a vanaprastha, you're a sannyas. Idea is a community of devotees to serve Krishna. Favorable service. Anukulena. Krishna anusilanam. The disposition should be towards serving Krishna in a favorable way. Everything we are doing, that should be our mindset. Yes, so we have to draw the curtain here so that we don't take much of the time of the devotees who have to do help with cutting of vegetables, etc. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.